don't keep
That's so much better.
Okay. What do I want to do?
vaccination.
Before we start, let's just touch on the prompts really quickly. There's a lot of questions on the one about who made the vaccine.
Jenner?
That's all I needed to answer, right?
That's it?
Oh, okay. Where do you find out? Did you grade mine?
What chapter?
I turned it in like 2 weeks ago.
Which one?
The prompt 4.
Well, was he married? Did he
I
have kids?
I'll wait
Now
till
you
the
should
deadline.
grade it. You should grade
Get my
it just
email?
in case I need to tweak something.
I'm just
Where did I need to
working.
tweak something?
And the like ones
I'm
that
working
you
on the phone.
redid. Yeah, have you graded those? Because I saw the 0.
Which one?
Like the ones that you got to redo.
I haven't opened any of the prompts. When it's due on the 14th, I'll open it. Hold on, 15th. A 12th or whatever day it is.
No, you said 14 and returned it.
Is the 14th or the 12th? Whatever day, whatever.
The 12.
What else? There was another question about
But
something.
extra credit.
The extra credit. It's a really short answer.
Are you serious? Can I say it and then you
No.
let me know if I'm right?
Can we
No.
direct them up to your answer? Can we direct them up to your
Type up the
answer?
short answer.
No.
Could you read?
Do we have the site where we got it from?
Yeah, go ahead. Tell me where you got it from because.
But what if we just got it because we just thought of it?
Then just right there. I thought of this on my own.
Someone told me this?
I'm a genius.
Everything else.
Put it like this. I know the answer to the extra credit. However, if your answer is different but still correct, I'll give it to you.
What? And it's 5 on our final grade, right?
Where
Well, your grade is additive.
I know, so it's 5.
It's
plus.
just, yeah.
It's 5
From
anywhere.
anywhere. 5 points into the last.
Your test, 6:30 this Wednesday, bring a Scantron, bring something to write with. Let's see, let's start with chapter 16. I'm just gonna, you tell me what you need clarification on. Are you on this one? No. What's special about keratin that you need to know?
It's in bugs.
It's a dead it's considered dead. It's a protective protein. It's scaly. However, what can break keratin? Fungi hydrolyze. That's why you get foot fungus a lot, because your feet are more moist than your hands. So fungi can then use that extra moisture to break apart the keratin, and then you get, little lamicel monsters.
So what's the answer?
Fungi.
Fungi?
What breaks
Yeah. Fungi will use whatever extra moisture you have to break down that keratin. Okay, here we understand that mucus would trap microbes. You have your cilia to beat along that mucus and your secretions. What's that disease that affects the cilia? Cystic fibrosis. Because cystic fibrosis needs what to beat? Chlorine. So it needs those little chlorine ions, and if those aren't working, if the chlorine pumps aren't working, then the cilia doesn't beat and everything gets trapped. Okay, here, physical factors would be the fluids, the tears, the saliva, the urine, the vaginal secretions. So think physical factors, fluids, chemical factors would be the acid, causing the low pH, and the lysozymes. Physical factor of fluids. Chemical factors would be lysozymes, low pH, acid. So the physical factor would be the fluid itself, the chemical factor, what is in that fluid that makes it special. You understand commensalism? No. Okay, commensalism, parasitism, mutualism, you understand those, right? All right. Going on to this. So here's what you need to know. Red blood cells transport gases. Platelets do the blood clotting. So those are easy. Now, if we go into the white blood cells, leukocytes are granulocytes or agranulocytes. So the granulocytes are neutrophils, basophils, eosinophils. The neutrophil, phagocytosis. Basophil make histamine. Eosinophils makes toxic proteins, can protect against parasites. So look for those keywords. You don't have to say the whole sentence. The next thing.
Wait, you said the red blood cells transport
Gas.
gases and what the other one is?
Platelets through clotting. The granulocytes would, neutrophils would be phagocytosis. Basophil, histamine. Eosinophils, look for the words toxic proteins and parasites. Monocytes are a type of agranulocyte. So here's the thing, we have a monocyte. Let's call it a baby white blood cell. The monocyte can go mature macrophage, which does phagocytosis, or it can go dendritic. So this will be a dendritic cell right here. The dendritic cells are a big part of the adaptive immune system. Because dendritic cells are one of those antigen-presenting cells. Then you have your lymphocytes, 3 kinds. Natural killers, T and B. You're gonna see this in adaptive immunity. So natural killers do apoptosis, do cytolysis. They rupture the cell, that's what they're doing, okay? T cells and B cells. B cells will make antibodies, whereas T cells are in cell-mediated immunity. We'll get to that shortly. Cell-mediated immunity. Do you understand this one? Do you understand phagocytosis? Where a cell will engulf another cell, break it down, and pretty much spit out the waste. Do you understand that? The only thing different here, your host cell has a toll-like receptor that will bind to the PAM, the pathogen-associated molecular pattern. So the pathogen has a code. Your toll-like receptor sees that code and will bind. That's the only difference in this type of phagocytosis. Oxidative burst, what you need to know here. Some microbes use the pentose phosphate pathway. Oxygen radicals tend to be made as a byproduct of cellular respiration or some sort of metabolism. But when hydrogen peroxide is made from the radical, that hydrogen peroxide can burst the bacteria. Inflammation. Okay. Now, when you're inflamed, your blood vessels are going to open up. That's vasodilation. It's going to allow room for white blood cells to go through. It's going to allow room for chemical signals in your body to go through. Now, those signals are a type of acute phase protein. So you're sick, rapidly these proteins are released. When you have an acute infection, doesn't it come on suddenly? So that's what we're talking about here. So when the blood vessels open up, as I told you, the white blood cells will come in. First, what they have to do, they would have to stick to the walls of the blood cells. That's called margination. And then they would have to squeeze through your endothelial cells to get to wherever you have an infection or a wound or a cut or whatever. And then they could do phagocytosis. So stick to the walls, squeeze through the walls, get to the infection. Okay, what you need to know here about your fever, you know it's a high body temperature, you know it's going to affect the hypothalamus. We saw in the other slide for the other chapters that if you had gram-negative bacteria, you'd have endotoxins released, and that would trigger cytokines. Interleukins are a type of cytokine, and then the hypothalamus will release another chemical called prostaglandin. That will reset the temperature.